Okay, so first of all, let me just say, I did want this date to go well. I wasn't trying to sabotage it. But sometimes the universe has other plans, and mine apparently involved a burrito from a gas station and the worst case of timing in human history. My name's Ethan. I'm 31, single, work in UX design, read. I move buttons around for a living, and I'd recently rejoined the dating scene with all the enthusiasm of someone reinstalling Windows 95. Enter Jess. We met on Hinge. Her profile said, fluent in sarcasm. Looking for someone who won't make me explain my memes. I was sold. We hit it off instantly. Her texts were witty, her voice notes were hilarious, and she once sent me a photo of a squirrel eating an avocado captioned, "Your competition." So we agreed to meet for a casual Sunday brunch. Simple. Harmless. What could go wrong? Spoiler, everything. I woke up excited. Nervous, but in that hopeful, maybe I'll meet my person kind of way. I picked a laid-back cafe I'd been to before, great pancakes, plenty of outdoor seating, and, importantly, no need to parallel park. Then I made a crucial mistake. I skipped breakfast. Around 11 a.m. I realized I was starving and still had an hour before the date. So, in a moment of brilliance, I swung into a gas station and grabbed what I thought was a safe snack, a breakfast burrito. Friends, it was not safe. By 11:45, my stomach had entered open rebellion. I tried to pretend everything was fine, but I had to make an emergency pit stop at a public restroom before the date even started. Just texted, just parked. Be there in 2. I responded, great. Grabbing us a table. Reality, I was in a Whole Foods bathroom sweating like I was on trial. By some miracle, I recovered enough to fake being a human again, raced over, and greeted her like I hadn't just experienced gastrointestinal warfare. She looked amazing. Cute sundress, killer smile, and thankfully no apparent psychic powers to detect my internal trauma. We sat down, ordered coffee, and the conversation flowed like we were old friends. I was riding the wave. Until she asked, so, what's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done on a date? I snorted. How much time do you have? She laughed. Try me. I told her about the time I accidentally sent a heart emoji to a recruiter instead of a thank you. She countered with a story about getting into the wrong car after a movie and not realizing it wasn't her Uber for a solid minute. We were bonding. I was winning. Then the waiter brought the food. I'd ordered French toast. Harmless, right? Except I bit into it and somehow managed to dribble syrup directly onto my crotch. Jess paused mid-sentence. I froze. Did you just? Yep. We both burst out laughing. I swear this isn't a tactical move, I said. I wasn't trying to be relatable via syrup stain. She handed me a napkin. I mean, it's bold. Shows vulnerability. After brunch, we decided to walk around a nearby park. I held my tote bag in front of me like an apron, praying the syrup stain wasn't too obvious. Jess didn't seem to care. We talked about everything from childhood pets to our mutual hatred of small talk. She had this way of making you feel like she was actually listening, not just waiting to speak. Then came the squirrel. We were mid-conversation when a squirrel darted directly between us, brushed her leg, and vanished into a bush. Jess screamed. Not a terrified scream, more like an excuse me kind of squeal. Was that the avocado squirrel? I asked. She laughed. Came to assert dominance. Then, out of nowhere, a frisbee flew past and landed squarely in my tote bag. Like, direct hit. I blinked. A guy jogged over, sheepishly. Sorry, man. Nice catch, though. Jess raised an eyebrow. Do you attract chaos, or is this just special for me? I don't usually have wildlife and sports equipment thrown at me, no. We kept walking, and that's when I stepped in mud. Not just any mud. Sneaker sabotaging, ankle-deep bog sludge. I yanked my foot out with a suction noise so loud it echoed. Jess was wheezing. At this point, I figured the date was a mess. Between the near-food poisoning, syrup incident, squirrel ambush, and mud bath, I was pretty sure I'd be a funny story she told her friends. But then she surprised me. Hey, she said as we sat on a bench while I cleaned my shoe with a leaf, this has been kind of amazing. I looked up. Seriously. I haven't laughed this much on a date in forever. You're real. Like charming in a messy human way real? I blinked. So, you're not going to run away screaming? She smirked. Only if the squirrel comes back. We walked back to our cars. She hugged me like it wasn't a pity hug. We made plans to see each other again. And this time I swore off gas station burritos for good. We'll be back with the update on how second one goes. Update for our second date, I played it safe. No burritos, no frisbees, and definitely no wildlife. I suggested a mellow Thursday evening hangout, coffee, and a bookstore. Jess was into it. We met outside a cozy independent bookstore that had a little cafe attached. The kind of place with overstuffed chairs and staff pics with handwritten notes like, "This book wrecked me in a good way." Jess wore jeans and a hoodie with a NASA logo. She looked effortlessly cool, like she was either about to explain dark matter or beat me at Scrabble. Still recovering from the syrup, she teased as we hugged hello. "Therapy's helping," I deadpanned. We grabbed lattes and wandered the shelves. We discovered we both hate dog-earing pages, love a good heist story, and have complicated feelings about the ending of The Great Gatsby. I made her laugh with a dramatic reading of a children's book about a confused pigeon. She countered with an impromptu character voice for a grumpy old dragon in a fantasy novel. Somewhere in there, she called me out for pronouncing genre like genre with too much flair. After browsing, we sat in the cafe with our books and people watched for a while. An old man spilled his tea and tried to pretend it didn't happen. A girl was trying to covertly take pictures of her date. We quietly built stories around all of them. "This is kind of perfect," she said, stirring her coffee. "Low stakes. No squirrels. Huge win." She smiled. "You're fun. And not in a tries too hard way. In a you'll probably trip but then make a great joke about it way." I'm flattered. And clumsy. It's a package deal. When we wrapped up, I walked her to her car again. We hugged, then just lingered. "Can I see you again?" I asked. She nodded. "Yeah, I'd like that." We didn't kiss yet, but it wasn't awkward. It felt like a bookmark in a really good chapter. We're still seeing each other. Still keeping it real. No squirrels so far. But I'm not ruling anything out. Once again, promise to be back with an update. Final update. Okay, so I meant to update this weeks ago. Actually, months ago. But life got busy, work piled up, and every time I thought I should write that update, something else came up. Classic procrastination with a sprinkle of blissful distraction. Anyway, Jess and I are still dating. It's been 5 months now. She's officially my girlfriend. I still don't understand how I lucked out this hard after the burrito incident, but I'm not asking too many questions. We've settled into a rhythm. We both have demanding jobs, hers in marketing, mine in UX, so we've become pros at parallel decompressing. That's what we call it when we both flop onto the couch with snacks and silently scroll memes next to each other for 45 minutes before speaking. Highly recommend. We've had a few arguments, nothing dramatic. Usually over silly stuff like whether we should attempt to cook something new or just order sushi again. Spoiler, it's always sushi. Our rule is no going to bed annoyed. Even if we're tired, we at least try to end with a dumb joke or sarcastic one-liner to break the tension. She still teases me about the syrup. I tease her about how she once confidently said platypuses aren't real animals because she thought they were mythical. Yes, I have the receipts. We make it work. With humor, patience, and shared playlists full of chaotic indie pop. So yeah, that first date may have been a total mess on paper, but in hindsight, it was kind of perfect. Here's to more bookstore dates, accidental chaos, and the occasional squirrel cameo. Over and out.